Hello, and welcome to Bethany College. My name is Gary Kappel, class of 74. That's 1974, not 1874, although the college was here then, and I am a retired professor of history. We'd like to show you a little bit of our campus today, and in particular give you an idea of the beauty as well as the facilities that will support your education when you come to Bethany. Our campus occupies approximately 300 acres here on the top of a ridge. We are surrounded by natural beauty. Trees that date from almost the founding of the college in 1840. The buildings date from the middle of the 19th century right through to the early years of the 21st century. Recycling is not something that is new to Bethany. We have buildings that were built for a variety of purposes and have been remodeled and completely restored to their original position, or they have been refurbished, a gymnasium, which is now our Fine Arts Center. All of this and more is part of the Bethany experience. I'm standing at the entrance to Old Main, the iconic architectural centerpiece of Bethany's campus. Many people don't realize that Old Main is not the oldest building on campus. When the college was founded in 1840, there was another building called College proper, which sat approximately here on the top of the ridge, but it burnt down in December of 1857. Within a week, Mr. Campbell was in Pittsburgh putting the arm on some donors, and this building was begun in 1858 and completed in 1866. It is a classic example of Gothic revival, or sometimes called academic Gothic, that was very popular in the 19th century. The building process, of course, was interrupted by the Civil War and was completed just at the moment of Campbell's death in the spring of 1866. I'm now standing on the corridor of Old Main, which holds many memories for people rushing to class, meeting with their classmates in between classes. There are classrooms all along the hallway here on both sides of the main entrance. To my right is the quadrangle where we hold our annual commencement and, weather permitting, the freshman matriculation ceremony every year. This building is Commencement Hall. It was completed in 1871 and is considered part of the Old Main complex, but was about 5 years later than Old Main itself. In the course of its history, it has been used as virtually every conceivable function on a college campus, including classrooms. It was used as a dormitory. It was even used as a gymnasium. In the 1920s, it was remodeled into a two-story structure with an auditorium on the upper floor and classrooms and studio labs on the main floor, or the ground floor. And today it houses our convocations, our special speeches and activities and so on. Ironically, the one thing we can't do here is commencement because it's too small. Phillips Hall was originally a dormitory which dates, or at least the core of the building, dates from the early 1880s. Period before the Benedum Commons dining area, the women took their meals in the basement of what we now call Renner 2. It also houses the McGuffey Lounge, or the Phillips Lounge, a meeting place for gatherings of honor societies, special lectures, such as last lectures for retiring faculty, and those sorts of things. This is Cochran Hall, Percy B. Cochran Hall, who was the son of a man named Mark Mordecai Cochran, a longtime supporter of Bethany in the first half of the 20th century. Percy graduated from Bethany in 1906, but unfortunately died shortly thereafter, and as a permanent memorial to his son, Mr. Cochran donated the money to build this dormitory. In addition to Cochran Hall, we have a number of dormitories on the other side of our campus, including Campbell Village, a complex of 4 buildings, as well as Woolery and Goodnight, and also Greek Hill, which has 6 buildings housing a number of our sororities and fraternities. This is Harlan Hall, one of the more recent dormitories built in the 1960s, and has been used both as a dormitory and also offices, and there is a classroom in the rear area. Another example of recycling here at Bethany is Moorland Hall. It was built originally as a dormitory for women and was then converted to a dormitory for men in the early 1970s as part of our innovative first-year program. In the early 2000s, it ceased to be a dormitory and was refurbished and now houses the offices of a number of our academic departments, as well as the bookstore and a coffee shop where students can hang out. Cramble Hall was built originally as a Carnegie library in 1905, and it served as the library until the current library, the T.W. Phillips Memorial Library, was completed in the early 1960s. The building now houses administrative offices in the upstairs and in the basement, but on the main floor we have a facility which we call our Learning Center, the McCann Learning Center, where students can go for additional support in their classwork, in their writing, and in their adjustment to college life. You're looking now at Benedum Commons, which houses our cafeteria. This building was completed in 1967 or 1968 and was completely refurbished about 3 or 4 years ago. And provides a modern open-air dining area for our students. We're now in the T.W. Phillips Memorial Library. The names Phillips will be familiar to you as you move across the Bethany campus because for 5 generations, the Phillips family have been extremely generous supporters of the institution. The library, of course, is the center of the academic life of the college and houses our extensive collection of books, but also digital archives and other electronic collections or access to those collections, as well as archival material on the life of Alexander Campbell, as well as the life of the college. This is Pendleton Heights, the residence of the president of the college. It is, in fact, the oldest building on campus, dating from 1842. It was named for W.K. Pendleton, who was one of the original professors at Bethany College and who also served as the second president of the college. He actually married 2 of Alexander Campbell's daughters. Alexander Campbell had 10 daughters and 4 sons by 2 wives. But this building has served as the president's residence, but it has also served as a dormitory and other functions, like so many other buildings at Bethany over the years. This is the Hurle Center for Education. It was originally built as a public school for Brooke County on college land, which the college leased to the county for $1 a year. When the school population of the county declined and the county decided to close the school, a generous donor, Dr. Rodney Hurle, an alumnus of the college, purchased the school in memory of his wife, Judith Hurle, who was an education major whom he met here while they were at Bethany. It houses our education program and other classrooms. This is Richardson Hall. It houses most of our science programs, math, chemistry, physics. It was built in the mid-1960s. It is named after Robert Richardson, one of the early members of the faculty, one of the earliest science professors at Bethany. I'm now in Wales Theatre of Steinmann Hall of Fine Arts. This building houses our theater program and our music program. As an undergraduate myself, I spent many hours in this room, and when I first returned to teach, I was also the technical director in the theater as well as a history professor, and so again spent many hours in this room. Here we have our theatrical performances as well as musical performances, guest performances from off campus. This room is also used as a lecture hall. It's one of only 2 on our campus that seats more than about 40 or 50 people. So you can rest assured you will not be herded into large lecture halls because we don't have large lecture halls at Bethany. This is Kirkpatrick Hall, originally built as Ogilvie Hall. It sits on the other end of Old Main from Commencement Hall. The original building in this place was called Society Hall, but it burnt down in 1879. Ogilvy Hall was built in 1910 through 12 as a school of agriculture, originally a science building, and was completely refurbished in the late 1990s through a generous gift from Forrest H. Kirkpatrick, and it is now known as the Kirkpatrick Hall of Life Sciences. This building is one of the most interesting refurbishments on our campus. The building was originally built as a gymnasium. It included a basketball court and a swimming pool as Irwin Gymnasium and was completed in 1919. In the early 1980s, it was completely remodeled to house our fine arts programs and is now known as the Grace Phillips Johnson Hall of Fine Arts. We come to the end of our campus visit, and we have returned, of course, to Ogilvy Gates, where, as I mentioned, our first-year students enter the campus for the first time, and our seniors exit the campus at the time of their graduation. I hope you have enjoyed this tour, and we hope to see you soon.